Today we're going to analyze this sick Triton cash game hand played between Phua, Wang and Mateos. Let's just get through the hand. There's a lot of tanking in the end, so I will sort of skip the tanking and give you an overall idea about how the hand goes. So let's take a look.
ST closes the action and picks up a club draw on the 6-3 deuce board. Top pair and the gutter for boss. Unclear, of course, what the pre-flop razor has. Whatever it is, Adrian not in the mood to bet it. 52,000 in the middle. Two checks in front of us, and we can understand why this 31,000 is being delivered.
Look at this, ST of action. Coming in cold with a call.
Alarm bell.
The board changes the structure when you make the straight. Looks like he is gonna call.
An unexpected $300,000 added to this one. Does raise eyebrows.
It does. If it's not a big hand, then it's something like an ace-5 of clubs or ace-4 clubs.
ST sensing that. Checks it.
I wonder, Adrian's checking. It doesn't really appear that Adrian's got like a set as played. It's gone over to Paul. Maybe Paul can rep a big hand. He can have a set in this spot for sure. Play it slow after the big check raise and call would make sense, especially with 4-5 being live.
Yeah. Get a free peek at this river. Enough in there already, deems Paul. And the disaster card. 4 of clubs. High straight. And ST no appetite to fire here. I think he genuinely might be concerned about that ace-X of clubs.
I think so.
I mean, we just take the overpairs completely out of Adrian's range if he's willing to jam here, do we not?
There's only one overpair it could be. Feels like the only other thing Mateos might have besides ace-X of clubs is 6-5 of clubs, which would be a straight play. He's going to make the call here.
This is shocking.
Thinking about the worst case scenario if he was to fold here. If Adrian's bluffing with aces, ace of clubs. He folds. Mateos had the nut flush.
So let's first go into the tree here. So the pot went from 52k to 5.2 and the stacks are set proportionally. The big blind I gave this range. Then Mateos should be opening something like this, maybe looser, but this is probably relatively close to GTO. He should not open all suited connectors. Maybe he does, or the king highs, but I think that's fine. And then Phua is probably calling, even against 3x, quite a bit looser than GTO would suggest, but I estimated his range to be something like this. Maybe, again, maybe looser, but should be fine. Then some bet sizes for the flop. Everyone goes for the 33%. Maybe Mateos bets bigger, but he wasn't c-betting, so yeah, it shouldn't matter too much. And I think 33% would be a decent sizing if he would c-bet anyway. Phua went for the 60%, and I made that his only sizing. And the big blind, what's his name? And Wang raised this amount, 3.23x. And then and then it went check, check, check on the turn. And then Mateos just shoved on the river. So that should be fine. So now let's go to the solution. Should be pretty interesting. So I actually ran this in Monker Solver a couple months ago because I wanted to make a video about this. This video this hand is also from a couple months ago. But I ran it on Monker Solver. I already took a peek there, but let's not go into that mess. Let's go into the... So I'm happy that I can do this video in, with the three-way solver. Okay, so Wang is supposed to mostly check, but he can donk. We're just gonna leave it like this. Let's see. Let's take a look at the c-betting strategy of Mateos. Yeah, he gets to c-bet a bit. And then Phua bets this. And again. And so yeah, his hand is a pure bet, so good for Phua. And the King 7 of clubs for Wang, indeed, is a very, very good race. 50-50 right here in the solver. So, very great play from both so far. It's actually, one of the highest frequency. This is a pretty high frequency flush draw check raise there for Wang. And I remember that also seeing in Monker Solver. So that's pretty, how do you say? So that's pretty... Okay, so the solver isn't cold calling much at all. You see how much Mateos is folding. Of course, he's not folding, or like, of course. He's almost, some club draw, some not flush draws are actually pretty close, but he's calling almost all of them. But of course, he had ace-6, and that is... he's supposed to shove this. But it's super, super close. So his cold call is pretty good and can be, I think, a very good exploitative deviation. If the cutoff, Phua in this case, calling too much, for instance, like if Phua is calling all of these flush draws that he should be folding, the ace-6 of clubs should become a slam dunk call. So I think he made an excellent deviation there at least. Phua is probably calling some of these, I'd say, because it's already close with the king highs here, so he's probably calling some king high flush draws. Now Phua calls, that is fine. He can actually re-raise it. Then the jack of spades, and Wang is probably supposed to check his king 7 of clubs a lot. Pure in this case, and that's not even close. Excellent check by Wang. And Mateos is also pretty much pure checking his hand. It doesn't make too much sense betting that, right? He's starting to bluff now some of his... like the ace-4 of clubs makes sense. Of course, the ace-6 has some showdown value in this one. And some king-high clubs are going to start bluffing here. So he does check, and I suppose, Phua is also supposed to check back his 6-5, pretty much pure. Then the 4 of clubs. Now, I do think that Mateos is at least supposed to shove his hand when checked to, and no smaller sizing. So it's not like he got greedy betting so large. He is probably just supposed to shove when he does bet. Wang is range checking this pretty much. So that is interesting, and that does make sense, right? If Mateos is calling with so many nut flush draws. He's just like the BB here as the green line right here is in such a huge range disadvantage, whereas, Phua and Mateos are far ahead, so that makes sense that the big blind Wang is range checking, being that he's so far behind with his range. And Phua's actually also ahead of Mateos, but so that does make sense. Going back to the strategies here. Mateos a6, indeed, like it doesn't make sense for him to bet any smaller than this. Like if we make this 50 or even at 75. Yeah, he's probably just polarizing with all his nut flush draws. And indeed, he's still shoving, and he is supposed to, pull his bluffs from his pocket aces with a club. And yeah, that is pretty cool to see. Like, this is a really edge case. Like, this is just pretty cool, you know. And he still has to mix it, right? You know, so we'll take a look at this later when we get to, Wang's decision. Because Mateos does shove and Phua does call with his straight. And that is pretty far from GTO. Interestingly, how he's mixing these flushes. Anyway, let's just go to. He calls, so let's go to Wang's decision with the King 7 of clubs. Yeah, he's even just supposed to raise them sometimes, and that actually doesn't make too much sense, given that he is not getting value from anything worse. So it does seem that the solver is a bit wrong here, but it's nevertheless. Sorry. Phua calls. Nevertheless, of course, the King 7 of clubs is just never a fold. However, Wang is. Wait, is this? Yeah, this is right? Because he calls. He had the shortest stack and he called. So yeah, Wang made this crazy hero fold in the big blind with the king high flushes. But the solver seems to be a little bit off here. But the thing is, and what probably is in fact true, is that Mateos is supposed to pull his bluffs from this, from these. And if Phua is calling with straights like this, he's likely overcalling, and this bluff likely becomes unprofitable. So if we node lock this, combos, hand frequency, pure check with the aces, lock all hands. So he's just not bluffing. Could very, very well be. Wang has to check his range, might have a lot of flushes. Phua is going to have a lot of flushes and is apparently not calling with straights. Mateos could expect that. Let's say he's not bluffing. And yeah, it doesn't matter too much what Phua is doing then, I think. Because we indeed now see that Phua is still calling even. Even if Phua folds, we see that the big blind is just going to fold his king 7 of clubs. So to that respect, I think Wang's fold is an excellent deviation. He truly understands the dynamics going on very well. He knows Phua, he knows Mateos, he knows that Mateos knows Phua, and he's an intelligent player, thinking player, and he correctly made the great fold with the king high flush. Great hero fold, and yeah, there is not much that Mateos could have done, because maybe betting smaller is a thing, like in exploitative sense, like. But again, like, he's just trying to also get full value from Phua. So no, I take that back. In theory, he should be shoving, and probably he should want to get max value from Phua. So there's nothing that he could have done. He was just a little bit frustrated. But there's nothing to be frustrated about. Wang was made just a solid decision, and there's nothing that Mateos could have, done about it. And yeah, well played by you know, both. Well played, great hand, and you know, I'm glad that I was able to do it in this fantastic platform and not Monka Solver. I hope you liked this video. I'd be happy to, you know, cover more live hands. Let me know if you like that, and thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.